What's up, everybody? It's Snapper77. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a ghost video. I've done some ghost videos in the past, but this one's going to be a Ghost 101 from my perspective of my use of her so far. I think she's definitely a god tier champ, maybe one of the top 3 champs in the game, depending on how you use her. Let's get into the synergies. The essentials to make her god tier. Ant-Man, not so much needed for god tier, but he definitely makes a huge difference. Wasp, very, very important. You need Wasp for the unblockable specials upon phasing. And of course Hood. Hood gives you the 0 damage while she's phasing, and that's on pretty well everything imaginable that you can think of, including Recoil on suicides. Excuse me. So that's the team there. It's called the Quantum Synergy. Okay, well, let's have a look at her abilities there. We'll start off with her signature ability, which is she's allowed to start the fight in phase mode. And the most important part of her dupe is it allows her to gain 2.75% power per miss, which is very, very important. It really helps her get to her L2 very fast, which is her moneymaker. How do you phase? Well, it's pretty simple. To phase, you dash back, and she goes into phase mode, and it lasts, like I said, for 2 seconds. And after the 2 seconds, then there's a cooldown timer for her to phase again. But if you attack, every time you attack, after you finish an attack, you're allowed to phase right away. And that's kind of really the way you want to use her, is phase, attack, and then phase again. We'll get into that into the videos. Her attacks, they have a 100% chance to crit on the first hit only. The other hits will not crit, and that's coming out of a phase. Every time she phases and you attack coming out of a phase, it's a guaranteed crit. And with that guaranteed crit, that also allows the opponent to not be able to use auto evade. Your first hit is not, as a matter of fact, every crit that she does cannot be evaded. So that's good versus auto evaders. And her heavy attack, it gives her fury charges or cruelty charges, and if you hold your heavy, you have an increased chance to get that fury. Her L2, which is her real big damage maker. Every time you use her L2, she gets a cruelty buff that lasts for 20 seconds. So if you can keep rolling your L2s really fast, you're going to get stacks of cruelty buffs, and each L2 is going to get stronger. Let's talk about the Masteries here now. Personally, I like to run what's called a Switchblade Setup. And what exactly is a Switchblade Setup? Well, it's a setup where your Masteries, 2 of your Mastery groups stay the same all the time, and you only change one of them. So for me, I like to go back and forth between Suicide Masteries and a regular build. So I keep my utility, my defense the same. So my defense has max willpower, which enables me to switch back and forth to Suicide Masteries without having to worry about taking willpower off and on. Willpower is great for a lot of things. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still valuable. And I like to look at it as it's cheaper for me when I want to go to switch to Suicides, because I don't have to touch my defense. So here I'm switching over to my Suicide Mastery setup for Ghost, because Ghost is very good with Suicides, because she gets around poison, she gets around bleed, and she gets around recoil. So it's absolutely just game changing for her, because you get, it's basically like you get the attack but none of the negative effects of the Suicide Masteries. Now that only works if she's not duped. You'll have to dash back, and then once she dashes back, the poison and bleed will disappear, and they'll be converted to to Furies, but if she's duped and you start the fight, she automatically starts the fight in phasing, so they don't show up whatsoever. Now let's look at the team here. Now you want Ghost, and who you want to pair her with is Ant-Man. Ant-Man gives her like 15% attack per buff, which is quite a bit. He's not essential for the team. Hood is essential for the team because he allows Ghost to not take any damage while she's phasing, any damage over time. Stuff like flare nodes, degen, starburst, poison, bleed, all that stuff. She won't take damage from any of that, even stuff like limbo and dorm degen and stuff like that. And the last you got Wasp gives her the unblockable L2, and Yellow Jacket just adds some attack bonuses for the team. Okay, let's get into some gameplay here now, and of course we're going into the Whipping Boy Winter Soldier, and we're just going to show you the basic mechanics on how to use her, and there's a couple different ways you can use her. The first one is probably the best way to use her, especially versus stun immune. Okay, what you want to do is you want to, after that first hit, after the first miss, you throw your medium attack into a 4-hit combo, end on a light attack, and then after your 4th hit, you phase back again, and then wait for him. He's stand there and don't touch anything. Just wait for him to throw that first medium, and then as soon as he hits you, you start into your combo again. Now it takes quite a bit of practice to get used to this. If you go too late, he could be starting his second attack, and you're gonna eat a fist to the face. Takes a bit of some time getting used to it, but once you get used to it, it's very powerful. And of course, her special attacks. That one I actually threw by accident. I don't know how I threw it. I usually don't use her L1 at all unless it's gonna finish a fight. You wanna try and get used to the way when to abort and when not to abort, because the phasing only lasts for 2 seconds, so you have to get a handle for knowing when it's safe that you're going to be able to execute a miss and then a counter attack. Here we're showing slowing down, going into an L2, I think here. See, phase, and then your L2 right away, and then it becomes unblockable, and all 3 will crit. If you phase and then hesitate and wait and then use your L2, only the first one will crit. Here I was trying to show too, I didn't miss, see, it was a recoil, and I took the recoil damage there. This next clip, it shows you how to avoid the recoil damage. Same thing, we're gonna come in with our 4-hit combo, then immediately phase back right away and hit your L2. You get all 3 crits. I didn't get all 3 crits on this one, but that just shows you now is right away. You gotta, if you phase back just before it says recoil, she won't take recoil damage because she's in phase mode. So that's how that works. And like I said, when you want to use your specials, you gotta phase and use them immediately. If you just wait a split second, then they won't. Then they're not unblockable. They'll be unblockable, but they'll only crit on the first hit. You want to crit on all 3. Now we're going to go in and show you a different way to use her. I call this the miss parry method, which instead of missing and counter attacking, you miss. You cause them to miss, then you parry his second attack, and then after the parry, you drop your heavy. And that's kind of the way I got started off, learning how to use her. You gotta get comfortable with just allowing yourself. You gotta be able to stand there and not press anything. Like, you're just so used to wanting to be able to parry and then counter attack. But you just stand still, wait for the miss, and then you either counter attack or you can parry. This method here, like I said, I'm showing you is the parry method. To the miss, cause the miss, parry, then throw your heavy, miss, parry, throw your heavy. Then phase, counter attack, phase again. He didn't cooperate there for the second hit on the parry. And yeah, so that's the two ways of using her that I'm comfortable with using her. There's another way I'm not very comfortable with it yet, and that's causing multiple misses on the phase. Here we're going to show you how to evade a stun, or how to fight auto evaders. With auto evaders, like I said, they cannot evade any crit hits. So what you want to do is you just want to phase and then counter with one hit attacks. And then I'll show you here coming up. She goes for I go for my parry. The first hit's a crit on the heavy. The second hit cannot crit, and he auto evades it. So like I said, the first hit cannot be evaded, and that's how you want to fight evaders. Is you just want to phase, do your one medium attack, and then phase again and rinse and repeat until you get to your L2. Then you're going to phase back and drop your L2. Now we're having a look at Bane node, stun immune Bane node. So just wanted to show you on the Bane transfer that she, if she's phasing while Bane is on you, she will not take any damage, and that's pretty cool. Like, Bane is really annoying, and it's just one of those things that nobody likes. See coming up here, slowed it down. Bane's about to transfer. Bane is now on me, and I'm phased, and you'll see I'm not taking any damage from Bane. Caused my miss, my counter attack, put the transferred the Bane back onto Red Hulk. So yeah, like that could be a lifesaver. Bane can do a lot of damage to you really fast. So it's just another nice little thing, that's a nice little perk that Ghost has with her. The next clip coming up, I think, is I think it's Starburst or Biohazard, or maybe it's Starburst and Biohazard. Same concept. When she's phasing, she won't take any damage. Yeah, see, this node has Biohazard. So what you want to do when you're fighting Biohazard as well is you want to limit your attacks. You want to be phase and then one hit attack, because if you do trigger any sort of bleed or poison, it's gonna be immediately gone, because you're just doing one attack and then phase out. A nice unblockable L1 by War Machine, just phase the whole thing for 0 damage. I don't think I took any damage from Biohazard this match at all. I'd never even triggered, but like I said, you want to be safe, and one hit attack, there's bleed, see, and then it's just as soon as you phase back, the bleed damage is gone. So that's why you want to reduce your attack to one attack and then phase, because if you trigger a bleed, you don't want that bleed to be on for any duration of time. And the last thing we're going to show you here is how to tank an L3 with Ghost. And what you want to do is you want to push them to L3 on purpose, and so you want to time it so that your attack pushes them to L3, and then as soon as you're done your attack, there are 3 bars of power, then you phase back right away, and as soon as they have 3 bars of power on phase, they throw the L3. And because I got Hood Synergy, she will not take any damage from this L3. That's one of the most important synergies. Hood and Wasp, for sure. Ant-Man when you can use them, but Hood and Wasp are the main ones. Well, that's my video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a good one.